Time Gal.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Good Time Gal. I'm your host, Caitlin Peluffo. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have one hell of an episode. We have Graham K on the podcast. He is so funny. You've seen him on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. He also has a brand new album out called Girlfriend Material. It's very funny. And he's Canadian. Woohoo! He's huge in Canada. Is a sentence he probably hates that I said. Anyway, but please, this is such a fun episode. Please listen, tell your friends, share, whatever. You can follow him on Instagram at InstagramGramK. It's he hates it, but it is Instagram K. That's what it is. It's tricky, but you get it. It's fun, silly. He wishes it were different, but you know what? It's a choice he made a long time ago, and he's sticking to it. Good for him. Otherwise, please follow the pod at Good Time Gal Pod on Instagram. Follow me at Caitlin Peluffo on Instagram and Twitter. And please rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. If you leave a review, it really helps us out, helps other people find us, helps the podcast grow. So that would be awesome if you did that. And then also something kind of fun, kind of exciting. I'm going to be doing a Zoom show with the podcast. It's going to be called the Good Time Gal Comedy Hour. It's with the Bonfire Network. And that's going to be on Thursday, November 12th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tickets are $5. That's pretty reasonable, I think. But it's just going to be an hour-long show. You pay for the ticket, you get the link, and it's just going to be comedians from past episodes of Good Time Gal. And we're just going to have a small, short comedy show. I'm going to host it. It's going to be a good time, obviously. And, yeah, please do that. I'll put the link up online on the I almost said Instagram podcast. Jesus Christ. I'll put it up on the page on Instagram. And, yeah, please do that. That's going to be really fun. And thank you so much for listening. This was a really great episode. And I think Graham is just the tits, even though he peed in my backyard. But I still love him. Please enjoy. Thank you.
If it was like here.
I see.
You know?
Well.
But it's fine. This is fine. It's a quiet room.
It is very quiet,
Yeah.
except when there's fights outside.
There was a domestic
Oh, no.
when I arrived.
I had to buzz him in 3 times because there was a rowdy group.
I kept getting distracted because... So I pull up, I lock my bike, and I'm listening to a podcast, this podcast, and...
You were not.
No, but but you don't have to ruin it. Could have been, but I will now.
Yeah.
If I was a real pro, I would have been listening to this podcast, wouldn't I?
True.
This is probably why I'm not doing better.
Whitney Cummings would have listened to this podcast.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I
That's
just don't
why
have.
She made it.
I don't have what it takes. I don't. Part of getting older is realizing you don't have what it takes.
Nor do you wish you did.
No, I'm doing fine cruising along here wherever I am. Got a couple good zingers now and then.
Yeah,
That's all I need.
you've been on TV a couple times.
But anyway, so I pull up and I'm listening to a podcast, and I've been in I hear like a kerfuffle. And I'm sure they didn't describe it as a kerfuffle, nor will they when they tell it back to their friends. But I did. And I have been in a few shootings in my life.
What?
Yes. And so I was like, you know, because I had the earphones in, and there was a loud and I was like, here we go. And I was thinking about where to dive, you know, and where's a good place to hide. And then and and I look over, I realize what's happening, and it's just a classic, good old fashioned domestic abuse. And so,
oh no.
Yeah, I don't, but I think I don't know, the woman was trying to hit the man. He must have done something real bad, because she didn't like him, and
no,
he was
not a fan.
He ran into his house and was hiding, and she was banging on the building door, and she was like calling him the N-word and get out here and all this, and then I said, you think it's funny? And then you think it would just he's inside and it would dissipate. But no, she ran next door to other buildings and knocked on doors and said, get out here, this guy so and so
is a rascal.
They came out, like 2 other dudes came out from 2 other buildings to break in and beat him up or something, and that was about the 3rd time you'd press the buzzer. So I figured I should probably get in now.
I love how you glazed over the fact that you've been in a few shootings.
Yeah,
What
yeah, they scarred
happened?
me.
As they should.
I'm from Canada.
Yeah,
I'm
like, don't they not allow guns?
Yeah.
So what the hell happened?
Well, they're all in America, all the shootings.
That makes sense.
I lived in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, this neighborhood, but 10 years ago, 12 years ago. And it was I lived right down the street from a block away from the Marcy Projects, which is where Jay-Z's from. And I'd be a kid and listening to his like him rap about how dangerous it was. And then I moved there from Ottawa. And then there was a drive-by in front of my house, and it was like a big shoot 'em up, and everything exploded and stuff. And I hit the deck in my apartment, and when we went out to go look at it, all the locals after 10 minutes when we decided it was safe, and a cop was there, and he looked at all the people, and he was like, "Let me guess, nobody saw nothing."
Oh, Jesus.
I was like, just like the movies. I was like, but I didn't see nothing.
This is SVU. Look at it go.
Neat. And then I was shanked in my liver. No. And then another time was sort of a more famous shooting in the comedy community. It was at the Comedy Store 5 years ago in L.A.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was on the Comedy Store has a bar, outdoor bar.
Yeah.
And I was at the bar, leaning against the bar,
and
a guy behind me just got shot to death.
What?
Yeah.
I did not hear about this.
Yeah, and I guess it was gang related, and the guy that they wanted dead said posted that he was at a comedy show, and then they just were like, cool, so we'll just wait for the comedy show to be over, and as soon as he walks out, we're gonna kill him.
So he was right next to you?
Yeah, from 20 feet, 30 feet, 20 yeah. The bar to the original room exit.
Yeah.
However long
Dang,
that is.
that's so scary.
And it's crazy because there's all these mass shootings and stuff happening, and there was 5 shots, and you're just please stop soon.
Yeah.
Please let it be just one person and not
God.
just because I'm huddled behind a wall, and I'm is he just gonna walk over me and chink?
Yeah.
And it's I knew what to do because I remember being in a shooting the other time, and I hit the deck so quick, and I grabbed my friend Eddie Delasepi, who was with me, and pulled him down, and I didn't save his life or anything, but anyway, we got up, and I was like, don't look at him, stare at the ground, don't look at anything, and walk out, because you just don't want to see a guy bleeding to death.
Yeah.
That's gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
So we walked out, and then my iPhone was smashed, and I'm making this story as quick as possible. I know it's supposed to be a fun drunk story. I'm opening up with two murders.
Someone died in the first shooting too?
No. The guy escaped. There was no. The first thing the cop said was no bodies in here. We got no body. He was picking up shell casings. Yeah.
Dang.
Anyway, but then my iPhone was out of warranty, but luckily the lady working there was she was a black girl, and she was from the hood, and she was like, "Oh, you were in a shooting?" I know. I was kind of fucked up, and she was like, "It fucks you up. I know. I've been through this. Let me get you a new phone."
Oh my God, that's so nice.
Yeah. She was so nice.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
May she have little angel wings wherever she goes, just huddling her away from any shootings.
Yes, I know. It was so nice. And then I went next door to wait for them to work out do whatever with the phone. And I watched. Blue Jays were playing in the playoffs. It was when the Blue
Okay.
Jays were good.
That's a baseball team.
Yeah, and Jose Bautista hit a walk-off home run to win a series,
Uh-huh.
and it was one of the greatest sports moments in my life.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
See, from dusk till dawn.
Mm-hmm.
I
Sure.
don't- was that a thing?
Yeah. It is now.
Proud of you.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was good.
Dang.
But
How long did you? And you didn't even live in LA, did you? How long did you live in LA?
2 years.
2 years.
Yep.
And you got the best of both coasts.
Yeah.
One on each end.
I sure did.
Good for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so
And I was on the road once, and they had in a mall, and they had like a shooting gallery, or like a gun range in the mall, and I went
Yikes.
to go shoot guns to get over my fear.
And how'd it go?
I shot a bunch of guns.
Yeah, feel good? Feel like a
I
man?
was so scared. I was like, I don't get it. Why?
The first time I ever shot a gun,
Mhm.
I almost cried. It was like so much power.
Mhm.
And I was at a shooting range, and I was being trained by the #1 rifle shooter in the nation.
Whoa.
He's dating he was the boyfriend of my best friend, and now they are husband and wife and
That's
have
nice.
2 beautiful children.
Yeah, very
Anyway.
safe family.
Yeah, yes. But it's still like the first time it went off, I was like, oh.
Yeah,
And my eyes welled up a little bit, and I was like, if someone were in front of it, they would die.
Yes, they
It's so
would.
weird, like. And then he's like, "What? That's crazy. We're here because there is no one over there. That's why we're shooting them here." It's like, you're completely right.
Yeah,
I'm
I get
being
it.
Irrational.
Well, you just realize the power of these things. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
anyway.
they're very. But then when you shoot clay pigeons, they're very fun.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
That's very fun. It's very hick, but it's a good time.
I understand.
Mhm.
That seems like a real treat.
It's just target practice, you know. Yeah,
I got good aim, apparently.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm a dead shot.
Which eye dominant?
Left.
Left eye dominant.
If you want to find out what eye is dominant, what you do is you take, for all your listeners, you take your index finger and you train it on a line. Find a line in the wall or a line in a piece of paper or whatever in the background, and you line it up with both your eyes, see what the middle is, and then you go back and forth. You like close one eye and close the other, and whichever eye that you have open where your finger is on line, that's your most dominant eye. So if I open my left eye, my index finger is right on the seam, that seam in the wall. If I open my right eye, it's way off to the left.
I just wish we were taping this.
Yeah.
Just you like really winking hard at my wall.
Yeah. Graham having
Really
one of his episodes again?
Coming onto those Post-its, aren't you?
Yeah. But I don't know. Does that make any sense what I just said?
Yes, yes. I think the way they did it was like if you had to see something far away, which one do you feel like you can actually is
See.
your most natural to shut?
Oh.
And for me, I'm right eye dominant.
Hmm.
It's weird. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Anyway.
Hey, here's a segue for you. When I get drunk, I close my right eye because I'm left eye dominant. That's how you know I'm really pinned when I'm like, oh, yeah? I just start winking at you, huh?
God bless you, Graham.
Yeah.
I was like, how do I pivot from shootings to so being drunk and out of control is crazy, right? So when I know you're sauced, you just have one eye
I close
closed.
my right eye.
No, you don't.
I do. I really do. I have astigmatism, and I don't do anything about it. I just muscle through it. I don't
Me
wear glasses
too.
or anything.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, really?
I
You
can
don't have
pa- I-
contacts?
I can pass the driver's test without it.
Jesus Christ,
I
that's
have
terrifying.
Yeah.
Get him on the road.
I've killed many.
Oh,
I've
no.
slaughtered people on the right side of my car. But I
Only when drunk.
only when drunk. Don't worry.
I'm so sorry.
Those are my drunk stories are all about just murdering people
Yeah.
and families.
Yeah, this is a tragic podcast now, but you look great.
I'm
so.
sorry. I think I did this last podcast I was on with you. I just meandered about nothing. It's like this is a fun little. People are going to tune in because they want fun drunk stories, and I'm like, all of the murders I've seen. What am I thinking? Why would I do that?
It's very. I just like that you just glossed over. I've been in 2 shootings. It's like,
Well, that's
yeah,
why I tried to gloss over because
Well,
I knew we were
it's not
supposed
something
to.
you can gloss over.
Damn it.
It's a big thing. Not everybody is like people in Idaho aren't like, yeah. And then on my 3rd shooting.
Oh man, I know. I'm sorry. I did try and tell the stories as quick as possible. They're actually longer stories.
You did great.
Thanks.
You did a great job.
Okay.
All right. They were very. You made them fun.
Fun and flirty.
Fun and flirty.
Yeah.
And you threw in some sports. Very exciting.
Jose Bautista, best bat flip ever.
Okay. I'm proud of Jose. He's actually a listener. He tunes in.
He is.
Yeah. He loves the pie. I tried to get him, but he's booked. But maybe with Zoom, we'll see if he can work out.
Tell you what, he's not booked.
Oh, he always tells me he's booked. Anyway, Jose, call me. So you're from Ottawa,
Yes.
Canada.
Yes.
You did my other podcast, Beasts, where we learned that you were very good at being a hockey goaltender.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
And then you went to like reform school, almost military school.
Yep.
And that sounded terrifying.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah, no, it wasn't good at all. It sounded like a nightmare. And if I can't remember properly, did you start drinking in the reform school or afterwards?
I think I went to like a house party before I went and got drunk.
Mm-hmm.
Got drunk a couple times before I went. Drank a bunch of like house-made wine at my friend's house. Then
house-made wine?
Yeah, or like whatever, like wine that a dad would make with a kid in a basement.
Oh, that's fun. I didn't know they had those.
Oh, yeah. And not good.
No, I can't imagine.
They were like a big thing.
Dan's killing it in the wine game.
Yeah. Well, I got water in a couple jugs. Should be good.
And a couple hours to spare.
Yeah. It's like wine's not that expensive. Just buy wine. And anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, anyway, I got pretty drunk there. I remember puking a bunch because I didn't understand. And
you thought you could just keep going.
Yep. And another time I got. Oh yeah, well we used to. So Ottawa is on the border between Quebec, which is a province. Province means state, and it's like if you could bike to New Jersey over a bridge.
Yeah.
But New Jersey had a drinking age that was 1 year less.
Okay, got it.
So we were like 16, and the drinking age in Quebec was 18. Which was like it was less of a stretch than 19, which is in Ontario. So we could bike over the bridge, and there was this one store called Wong's Dépanneur, and Dépanneur means like bodega, like corner store, and Mr. Wong didn't speak French or English, and he just would sell beer to anybody, and it was like a so I remember I didn't have a driver's license. And I biked over the bridge and bought a 12-pack of beer and put it in like my basket, and then biked back over the bridge.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, and then we all got ripped in a park. And I remember I had summer school the next day because I'm super smart. And I remember it was we got drunk on a park bench on top of a hill in a park, and then there was like, oh, I gotta go to summer school, man. And then it was like night, and we were all drunk, and I was biking down the hill towards the opening in the fence.
Oh no!
And I remember like I was like right on target. I was like,
which eye was open?
Right on target. And then I remember I blinked. I remember the fence was so far away. It was very far away. And then I blinked, and then the fence was really close, and the opening was way over there. And then I just completely smashed into the fence so fast because I was going down a hill. And then all my friends on the bench just laughed at me. No one helped. I could have been very hurt, guys. And then I picked up my bike, and I was like, rah. And I biked home, and I remember that my handlebars, the metal of my handlebars, had poked out the edge of the rubber. And of the grips, and I kept like scraping parked cars all the way home. I like keyed like 100 cars on the way home.
He still wanted.
I'm like, they probably like fucking kids, these vandals. Why would you do such a thing? It's like, nope, I didn't want to. Yeah. I felt bad while I was doing it. I was like, I really gotta
shape up here.
Shape up here. Okay, gonna go straight the rest of the block. Gosh, jeez, these poor people.
That's someone's Miata.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, and then that night I remember we jumped over the McDonald's cash register thing, and we made our own McFlurries, and they kicked us out.
Yeah.
And then when I woke up, we ate burgers too. When I woke up, my dad knocked on the door, and he was like, "Time for school." And I opened my eyes, and there was McFlurry and burger all over the wall. And I was like, "I'm naked. My dick's out. My cock and dick." And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine." And then I'm going through puberty now. And then I did such a good job of cleaning everything up and like taking my sheets and getting all the grossness inside. And then I had this like really sneaky way of sneaking the laundry down to the laundry room in the basement and like hiding it behind like a sink. And I was gonna do it when I got home from school before my parents.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no one suspected a thing. I was like, I can't believe I got away with this.
Mm-hmm.
This was an absolute debacle. And then my buddy Owen just pissed everywhere, all over his house, and his mom found him out in the driveway drinking from a hose with one sock on and his underwear. And so the jig was up, and then she called my mom and was like, "Our kids were drinking last night."
Mm-hmm.
And then Owen got grounded for like 5 days, and I got grounded for the rest of the summer.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's a harsh one. They really wanted to shape you up.
I was so pissed at Owen. I was like, what the hell?
In underwear and socks, drinking from a hose.
Yeah.
Hey, when you're thirsty, you're thirsty.
That guy's a doctor now. He is.
He owes you free health care. Free checkups for life. For at least a summer, I feel like.
I think so.
Yeah. That would be nice.
Man.
And so then your parents were like, "Yeah, we got to ship him off." Is that what happened?
It was one of the main reason was because I had OCD, and they thought I was on drugs, and I wouldn't tell them it was OCD, so they thought I was on drugs.
Oh.
But the drink. Oh, one time at that school, so we were like, we gotta, we're like 18. We're like, you just call home, and everyone's like. We're like, you're like, what's it like at home? They're like, we're at house parties. We all have girlfriends. We're having sex. Oh, it's awesome. I gotta go buy. Oh my God, so much sex and partying. Bye. Click. You're like, oh no, oh my God. And like, I'm like looking at a field. Like there was like nothing there. A town of 300. I grew up like downtown in a city, and now I'm in a town of 300 in a field. And we're like, we got to party. We got to like figure out how to. And then it was my second year, and a girl came who graduated, but we knew her from the other year, and so she had a car. You weren't allowed to have cars. You weren't allowed to leave the town or anything, and there was no stores in the town, And we're like, hey, we're like, please, can you go buy us booze? And she's like, yeah, sure. And we're like, okay, here's money. Can you buy us in Canada we call it a Mickey, but it's like a flask, like 2 flasks of like. She's like, what do you want? We're like, we don't know. Alcohol, anything. I don't care.
Yeah.
Just give us something small that, and she's like, cool. And then she left, and she came back with 24 beers. I was like, how the fuck are we going to hide this? And she's like, want me to take it? Want me to keep it? And we're like, no. We'll figure it out. And I put 24 beers in a backpack, and someone ratted me out, and I tried to hide. I hid it. And it was like, and then the dorm guy, 25-year-old guy who looked after the dorm was like, where? It was like an interrogation, like, where are the beers? And I was like, oh, what beers are you talking about, man? He's like, we could make this the hard way or whatever. And then it was like, eventually I had to show him where I hid the beers, and he drank all the beers.
He drank them?
Of course, yeah.
In front of you?
No, just drank 24 beers. And
You're gonna learn a lesson.
You're gonna learn. Just pisses himself and passes out.
I'm doing you a favor.
He's authority. and then my punishment was I had to be a garbage man for the town for the rest of the year.
For the whole town?
Yeah. I was one of the garbage men, and I had to wake up at like 5 in the morning in the winter in Saskatchewan. So it's like, it really feels like you're in the moon, on the moon. It's so dark, and there's snow everywhere, and it's just the lights from the odd street lamp and the glow of it, and it's so flat in Saskatchewan, and it was just like, and it was minus 1,000. It was so cold.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Who ratted you out?
I don't know.
Oh, that piece of shit.
I don't know.
Do you think she was a plant?
No.
What about that theory, huh?
Maybe.
Maybe she was banging the 25-year-old.
Maybe. You never think about that kind of... You think that guy's 50 years old and she's like a contemporary.
Yeah.
But as soon as you graduate high school, it's like...
Fair game. It's all free. Especially because I didn't know this. 5 years in Canada for high school.
It was only in Ontario for like 20 years. And I went to high school in those 20 years.
Nice.
But as like 3 years after I graduated, they went back to 4. So like,
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah, it's too much.
It's just silly.
Yeah, so you had to endure.
I do endure.
5 years of that horrible place.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all boys. Just to paint a picture, all boys.
300 boys and 50 girls.
I didn't know there were girls.
Yes, but it was a sports-driven school. There was 14 hockey teams.
Okay.
All the women played hockey. I think there was like two. Yeah, there was like 2 women's teams, and so there was. I would say that there was at least 40% lesbians of the women.
That's fun.
Yeah, and then the rest of the women would like there was a junior hockey team that played in that town and that our school like sponsored or whatever, and junior hockey is like a big deal in Canada. It's like high school football in Texas, but junior hockey is like 17 to 20 years old. So these guys don't go to the high school. They're all jacked. They all have cars. They're all like very good looking.
Yeah.
And so the women wouldn't go with us.
No. They weren't choosing.
They weren't excited. No. I was like, hello. I'm 6'4", and we weigh the same. Kiss me. Please.
I've been practicing on my hand all summer as a garbage man.
As a garbage man.
Oh, Graham. So a lonely boy.
So I will segue to another drunk story.
Ooh, fun.
Thank
God you're here.
Yeah. So I spent the early part of my 20s trying to catch up to this like youth I felt I never had with women, like trying to sort of catch up with experiences and like basically just trying like to get like to have girlfriends and like get laid and stuff. Like it was something that didn't happen till I was like in my early 20s anyway.
Yeah.
So I graduated university. I had like 2 girlfriends at that point. But I was single, and I got a job in Budapest, Hungary.
Oh, fun.
And I worked for the Canadian government in Budapest, Hungary for a year. And I was there to travel and work and just experience life and whatever. But I did, like, third on that list was, like, I would like to be a young person and sleep with a bunch of hot European ladies, please.
You wanted to be a little man whore.
Yeah. But I also, like, a girlfriend would have been great, too. I don't care. But something. I want someone to touch me.
I want to be touched.
So it was just because you'd go to work, you'd go home, you'd be like, it's so, like, it would be fine if I was alone in Ottawa, but I'm here, and it's a finite amount of time in this exotic place. It's so depressing to be alone. If I had a girlfriend or something, it would be great. Like, we could, like, she could teach me food or something.
Yeah, you got to be taught food.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just...
What is food?
Yeah. What is food? I'm from Canada. Do you have pelts? Should we snare a beaver? Eat its meat and use its pelts? No.
There's a McDonald's.
Yeah.
We have that here.
Just start stroking her side of her face. You are so exotic. Your indoor restaurants. But anyway, so I remember they used to have all these long weekends there because there were always like, they commemorate some battle from 700 years ago where like everyone was slaughtered.
Everyone died.
Yeah.
Here's a margarita.
Yeah. We'll get Monday off. And you're like, all right. And so I would always take these like night trains, like on a Friday night. Like I'd get off work, or I would like pack a weekend of stuff, bring it to work, and then go straight from work, try and leave like an hour early, get on a train, and go to like Munich or something.
Yeah.
Or like and spend like 2-3 nights. And then I would take like a morning train, like a 5 a.m. train, and like make it for 9 a.m. at work, whatever, in Budapest.
Awesome.
And like I'm like 23, 24, so like you could do that.
Yeah.
Physically. And I what the hell is it? Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to Munich. I've never been to Germany. I basically took World War II in university, so I'm very interested about how the rise of fascism happened, and Munich was like a huge center of that. And so I took I remember I got there that night, and it was like midnight, and I was like, fuck, man, I'm not going to go to bed. I'm going to get out there. I'm in fucking Germany. And so like I went.
Try and get touched.
Well, or just party or see something, meet some.
Don't lie to yourself.
Well,
you
that
wanted to get touched.
100%. But it would not have been a failure if I just went and had fun. And which is what I did. I went and had fun, and I was like, met a group of people, and we like hung out, and they thought I was like, it was weird that I was there, and it was like it was fun. But I was up till like 6 a.m, but I already had a World War II bike tour the next day. So I woke up after like 3 hours sleep, and like when you're like your tongue is just stuck to the roof of your mouth. You're like, time to bike. Learn about history and bike. And we're on this like really awesome bike tour, and I met a girl, an American girl on the bike tour, and she was like super cool, and she was into me, I think, and it ended at this like the beer hall where they had the beer hall pushed or whatever, and we're like, it's a Hofbrauhaus, so it was like this big famous beer hall, and there's like everyone steals the big glasses, the big steins there. It's like a big souvenir you can steal. You can buy them, but like it's they're expensive.
You stole them.
It's fun to steal. And so I'm like talking to her, and she's like, I have to catch a train, but we're going through Budapest. Let's hang out when you're in Budapest. We like exchange numbers. I'm like, great. We'll have a great trip. Have fun in Prague. I'll see you in Budapest.
Yeah.
And so I'm like there. I'm a couple beers in, and I like have a brief exchange with these two German girls, and then they're like, "Do you want to sit down?" I was like, "Yeah, sit down." And then we just start talking, and we're like, have a nice time. And then they're like, "Do you want to? We're gonna go to like, we're just pre-drinking. We're gonna go to like a club. Do you want to go?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so I like steal this stein. I'm so proud of it. We go to like some other bar, then we go to a club, and they tell me that I can't bring in the stein, the glass thing, to the club, so I hide it outside. We go in the club. I don't know how long. I have no idea what time it is. I mean, I haven't slept.
Yeah.
And I've been drinking for like at this point 5-6 hours.
Yeah.
And I remember we're like 3 of us are in a booth, and then one of them leaves, and I like same thing. I blink. And I open up. One of them's gone, and the other one's looking at me and like leans in for a kiss. And I'm like, yes. And then I lean in for a kiss, and I close my eyes again, and then I pass out. And I knock over my beer, and it like goes all over her crotch. She's like, my jeans. My jeans. What have you done, my jeans? And she was so pissed at me. And I was like, no, it's fine. It's fine. And I was like, no, it's. And she's like, no, it's just not fine. She's like, clear. She just realized how drunk I was. Yeah. And like, she was like, I don't want this fucking dumb oaf flopping on top of me and then passing out. Worst sex of my life. Which but she was right. It probably would have been. And so I was like, no, it's fine, it's fine. And then she goes out to get in a cab, and I was like, let me get in with you. It's fine. And she was like, ugh, fine. and I like get in a cab with her, and I immediately pass out.
Oh no.
And then I wake up in the suburbs, and she's gone, and a cab driver is shaking me, and I go, and the cab driver's like €40, which was like 90 Canadian dollars.
Oh my God.
And it's like so much money for me at that point. And I'm like, okay, sure. I just assumed she was like right there. I assumed she was like standing 3 feet away outside the cab. I pay, I close the door, cab drives off. I look around, it's an empty suburb. Like
empty?
Well, it's like just there's nobody on the street. Everyone's in bed. It's she's not there. I don't know where she is. She probably told the cab driver, she says, look, I don't want to hang out with this guy. Can you just wait 3 minutes? I'm going to like go home.
Yeah.
And which is fine. Like,
yeah.
but I would have appreciated like, listen, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
yeah. What is the right protocol?
I don't know. It's certainly all my fault. So I get out and I'm like, what? Shit. and I go and I'm like, it was cold. It was like November or something. And I was like, oh, there was no. This is I'm older. Like this is before, like Uber, before smartphones. You can't look anything up on your cell phone.
Yeah.
So there's a phone booth there. So I'm like, I'm gonna try and stay alive. I'm gonna like I'm gonna try and sleep in this phone booth. I'm gonna try and stay awake until it gets warm out, and then I'll flag someone down and ask for a cab number or something. If the first person I see, and I just I hunker down and I'm like, okay,
Jesus,
let's try and get through this. Then like within 3 minutes, this like a cab pulls up, and all these like German bros get out from a night of drinking, and I like run up to the cab. I'm like, a cab? Yeah, can you go to the train station? The cab driver's like, hell yeah, double fare.
Yeah.
And like gets me in the cab, and I'm like riding home. I'm like, another €90 all the way back. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. Or $90. That's gonna be tough for me. I don't want to pay that.
No, that's a lot.
I remember thinking about my roommate in university. She was like, would always brag about how she would run away from cabs and stuff. And I was like, if she could do it, I can do it. You know what? You only live once, Graham. You can do it. And like I didn't tell him what hotel I was staying at. I said I'm at the train station, which was like a block away from my youth hostel. And it drops me off, or the cab pulls up to like train station. I go, he's like, €40, which is 90 Canadian. I'm like, €9, which means like no money.
Oh no!
And I start going like this, and then I like open the door. I'm in the back seat, and I open the door. I make a run for it. He's in the front driver's seat. He does a like Dukes of Hazzard. He opens his door. There's a Dukes of Hazzard slide. Like he's done this over his own hood, and he's like right on me. And he like grabs my shoulder. I swipe it away, and I start running. He gets back in his car and starts chasing me, and then radioing his other cab buddies.
Oh
and
no!
They are all these cabs are like swerving around, and I'm like running away from these cabs, turning a street, and there's a cab, and I'm like, ah, and like, and then I get on this block, and there's no cabs. I'm like, hell yeah, and then I find an alleyway, and I run in the alleyway, but it's a dead end. I'm like, shit.
Oh no!
And so I hide behind a dumpster, and I'm like trying to make myself as small as possible. It was like a smaller dumpster, and and then I hear like a car coming slowly. And I know it's a cab because I can hear the CB radio, like, blip, blip. And I'm like, oh shit. And then I could hear it go, and then past the opening of the alleyway. And I'm like, oh, thank God he didn't see me. Then I hear, I'm like, shit. And so I get out and I run as fast as I can towards the opening, towards the cab. And sure enough, he did see me. He got out of his cab. And we meet each other, and he does this like sweep kick.
Oh
And I was in like I was in such good shape. Like I was like I like just plowed through his sweep kick and it ripped my jeans and my leg was bleeding. And now I'm running. Now light's coming up. It's like 5:30 a.m., 6 a.m. And it's like it's like now it's like where old people tourists are getting up and like walking around like with maps and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like running down this like main street. And there's like an old couple with like cameras and maps, and they're like, "Stop, thief!" Like, and I like go run past these old couple, and I'm like, I'm the fucking stop thief guy to this couple. What am I doing with my life? And I get on this main intersection, and then a cop car goes. They had been radioed too. Comes up, and it kind of like stops right in front of me, and kind of like half hits me, but not bad. And then I like jump on the hood, and I go, "Help me! They're trying to fuck me. They're all trying to fuck me."
Oh my God.
He's trying to, I go, he's trying to touch my dick. He was touching my dick. I didn't like it. And then the cop was like, everyone knew exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
And I was like, he was trying to touch my dick. I swear to God. And then, and the cop goes, "How much was it?" And he's like, €40. And he's like, "Do you have €40? I was like, "No." He's like, "We will go to an ATM. You will take out €40. I went to an ATM. Took a €40 and he gave it to the cab driver, and then they gave me a receipt, and then they said, "Never come back to Germany." You must never come back to Germany. And honestly, for like 2 years, I was like, I bet you I'm on a list. I'm on a list. And then so I had to catch a like, let's say a 1 p.m. train that day. To go back to I went back. I think I may have had like an hour nap, or I don't think I had time for a nap at this point. And I had to like pack up my stuff and try and get to the train station on time. But I was like, you know what? I have enough time. I can go back to the Hofbrauhaus. I'll buy a Stein because I want that souvenir.
Yeah.
So I went back to the Hofbrauhaus, bought the Stein, went to the train station, missed my train.
No.
Because I went to get that damn Stein. And then I was like, okay, I'll take the next train. And they're like, the next train isn't until 7 a.m.
Oh, no.
And I was like, okay, I don't have a place to sleep. I'll just sleep in the train station until 7 a.m. So I go to like lie down in the train station, and then the train station closed at 5.
Oh.
No, it wasn't. This is later. It might have been like 8 o'clock or something like that. It was dark out, and I was like, okay, well, so I go and I go to a cab driver, and I go, "Hey, can you take me to a youth hostel? I'll just sleep." I haven't slept in 2 days now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I get in a cab, and we're in. That's why it was later, because I was in Munich. I took a train to Vienna, and then I missed my connection to Budapest, and so now I'm in Vienna. I don't know what the city's like or anything like that. It's late at night. I can't sleep in the train station, and I get in the cab, and I'm like, "Take me to a youth hostel." He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Are you a hotel?" So we're driving around looking for a hotel. We finally find a youth hostel. I realize I don't have money for the cab. I'm like, I can't run again. So I have to give him my beer stein.
No.
Yeah. And then I get out. He drives off. I go to the youth hostel. I go, "Hey, I need one night, but can you do me a wake-up call?" They're like, "This is a youth hostel, buddy. We don't do wake-up calls."
Yeah.
And it was like my phone didn't have an alarm or something like that. It was like a Nokia, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I'm not going to wake up. I haven't slept. I have to catch the 7 a.m. train, or like the 5 a.m. train, or whatever it was, to make it in time for work at 9 a.m. in Budapest. It's like a 2-hour train ride from Vienna. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to sleep again. So I just walked around the city for like 4 or 5 hours. I found a 24-hour coffee shop, and I sat there in the back and like put my head like what I used to do in class, and like pretend I was awake, but like, and there was like no sleeping, and the guy kept going, "No sleeping." Every time he'd catch me drift off, "No sleeping." I was like, "Oh, it's fine." And then I walked back to the train station. It took me like 2 hours to walk back, and I get on the train. I like, get there. I get in Budapest at 8 o'clock. I have to be at work at 9 o'clock. Run home, change, shower, get to work like 10 minutes late.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't slept in 3 days. And I start feeling sick. And I had extreme exhaustion, which is like throwing up and diarrhea.
Oh,
And I went
no.
home. And then that girl from the tour called me, and she was like, "Do you want to hang out?" And I couldn't because I was too sick.
Oh my God. So let me get this straight.
Yeah.
You didn't get touched.
No.
You didn't get your beer stein.
No.
You didn't get the girl.
Girls.
And you're broke.
And I'm broke.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
I spent like $180 Canadian on 2 meaningless cab rides.
Yeah. That really took a turn for you.
Yeah.
It was so full of hope.
Whoopsie daisy.
Oh, that's well. I mean, that sounds like quite an adventure.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're just a little rule breaker. I mean, you're
guess.
keying cars,
Keying
all
cars.
right. Stealing steins,
Stealing steins.
I
Getting in
think it-
shootouts.
getting in shootouts, and then running from cabs.
Yep.
You're lucky that they were just like, just pay the man.
I'm lucky it wasn't like Bolivia and they cut my head off or something.
Yeah,
It's just
you'd
like
lose
German-
a
Here is
hand."
the receipt. Efficiency. For your taxes, of course.
It's a write-off.
Yeah. I felt like looking back on it, I'm like such a little shit. Like I hadn't had like a, I mean, I had service industry jobs, but I just was too young. Like these poor cab drivers.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah,
And
you're a
that girl-
monster.
that girl who like, I mean, she was a rich kid. I remember,
Mm-hmm.
and I always thought she was like a spoiled rich brat, and that would like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
run away from cabs. She was nice. She was a nice person, but she was definitely spoiled. And it's like the only spoiled people run away from cabs.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, of course, 'cause they can't empathize.
They can't empathize.
Yeah. You're doing it out of desperation, whereas she is just like, ugh, I can't.
Yeah, I knew it was wrong, and I could have just eaten ramen for a few weeks and made
Yeah.
up for it and just
Mhm.
done it.
Yeah.
Take my lumps, but I was like, I just didn't want to do it.
Yeah. Well, you learned.
I learned, and I was probably like, he's getting in, double fare. He wasn't expecting this. He has to drive back to the city anyway. You justify all this
Yeah, of course.
in your head.
Of course, but you're cold and you're young and you don't.
No.
Yeah, well, I think karma really caught up with you and beat the shit out of
Everything
you.
I got, I deserved.
Yeah. Minus the shootings, of course. You didn't deserve
No, I didn't
any.
deserve that.
No.
Well.
Yeah, I should be clear.
You take risks when you live in bad neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
Like my rent was like, I think it was between $400 and $500, depending on people we had living in that house.
Damn.
So it was like,
Why not?
yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, no more ramen for you with that rent. You know what I mean? Get your bread.
Steaks every night.
Hey.
I'd go.
So what'd you do after Budapest?
I worked in Ottawa, living at home, and I delivered sandwiches, and I was a bartender, and I sold suits, all 3 at once.
Wow.
Not in one shop.
Yeah.
3 different jobs. And I was the worst at selling suits because they made me like hem the pant, like mark where the hem goes, and it would just always be uneven. I didn't know what I was doing. I sold so many uneven pants, expensive uneven pants.
Graham.
And then I did like 3 open mics, and I was like, I'm pretty good. I'm ready for Letterman. And I moved to New York without work papers, so I was like undocumented here for 5 years.
Really?
Yeah.
And then you were doing comedy.
Yeah.
Did you like hit the ground running?
No. I mean, it took me a while. I got a under the table waiter job, and then I got a job. I interned at Vice, and I did like 2 sets a week, which was not enough, or 1 set a week, and then I quit and like really went after it, and then I barked at like the former Boston Comedy Club,
Yeah.
Comedy Village, and did all that, and then
Look at you now.
yeah, Village Lantern,
Oof.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, the best.
it's... Yeah, I think I'm still scarred from a lot of things that happened at Village Lantern.
Yeah.
They haunt me.
Oh my God. Just sitting out there in the winter, handing out tickets, being like, hope hope we make it.
Yeah. One day this will all pay off.
Yeah, I'm giving up a lot.
Yeah. I'm cold.
Yeah.
Surrounded by cabs.
and like because you're beginning in comedy, every 4 people you socialize with is a lunatic.
Yes.
A straight up crazy person.
Yes. Yeah, I find that especially when you're just starting out, the first 2-3 years of comedy, you really see the gamut of the people who you're like, oh, I think there's something mentally wrong with them, something scary, and then you also see the brilliant.
Yeah.
And then you're just somewhere in the middle, like, so which one am I?
Yeah.
Which one will I become?
Hope it doesn't break me.
Yeah. Seems like it can. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. There was one guy at the Village Lantern, and he was like, yeah, excuse me, water. But he you always have to say when you cough these days what the reason is.
The reason.
But anyway, he was like, one day he showed up wearing leather pants. He was like, his plan was to wear leather pants. We're like, what's with the leather pants? He's like, well, here's my plan. My thing is I'm going to wear leather pants and have a white T-shirt and a bandana every set, and I'll be known as that guy. But I'm going to have to phase them in. So I'm going to start wearing leather pants first for the first 2 weeks because I don't want it to be shocking. I want it to be something, a gradual transition. The audience doesn't notice. I'm like, you think you have fucking regulars? You think the industry is what you are? And anyway, sure enough, he would wear a red bandana, a white T-shirt, and black leather pants. And we just made fun of him so much.
Yeah, I mean, he sounds like he belongs in West Side Story.
Yeah.
I mean, good for him.
Another guy messaged me out of the blue. Like, I hadn't talked to this guy in years. Like, let's say I haven't talked to him in 9 years.
Uh-huh.
Messages me on like Facebook Messenger, which is where people from 9 years ago messaging.
Of course, yes.
And he was like, "Hey, Grandma, really need some money. I'm in a tight spot. I'm in a shelter."
Jesus.
And I just never responded. But like, it's like,
I mean, do you respond?
Wow, yeah.
I mean, even if you were like,
here's some heroin money. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so uncomfortable. Steve gets that every once in a while.
Really?
Someone will ask him for money.
The same person over and over again?
Yeah, same person over. And Steve has never once said yes.
Is it his son?
Maybe that's it. Curveball, he's actually 50.
It's his teenage son that he is ignoring.
Yes. Caitlin, you're living under a rock. You keep saying you like young dudes, but we all see he is 84.
Oh, he could have a teenage kid if he had a kid when he was like 16 or 17.
Well, he's 29.
Guess not.
28. He's 28.
Yeah.
No, so even worse.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope. No, you think that kid was fucking at 16? Get out of here. I love him. He's great at sex, but
I wasn't, and I looked like I was 28 when I was 14.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't believe you're 30. But now it's like changed over because now you're 39 and you don't look 39. You look much younger.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
A lot of water.
Yeah.
And a lot of sleeping in.
Okay.
Having no kids.
That'll
and
do it.
No real job to speak of for years. Being a failure makes you very youthful.
Great for the wrinkles.
Yeah.
You really glow. It's called the unemployed glow.
Poverty.
Yeah. Now, you said you had 3 stories.
Oh, yeah.
Is there another good one? We probably have time for one more gem if you got one.
Okay.
No, but it's okay if you don't.
Okay.
You were talking. You almost called a friend. You almost did a phone a friend to see about one.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, here's one. So I changed universities, college, halfway through.
Okay.
So, because long story short, I went to this boot camp high school, and all I did all day was work out.
Yeah.
And I walked. I was like 6'4", 165 pounds when I came into high school, like that high school.
Mm-hmm.
And after 2 years there, I was 235 pounds. And
That university.
When I left high school.
When you left high school, you were 165, and then you
No,
got
when
it.
I left high school, I was 235.
Oh wow. Okay.
I did
Got
two years of this boot camp, and I just gained like 60 pounds or whatever. I just working out every day because all they had, it was a small town. All they had was a gym. So what happened is I got like into a better school because of playing football.
Okay.
But the school was like in a small town, and after 2 years, I didn't play football. I didn't want to hang out with jocks or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'm starting university, like a brand new social group, everything, halfway through college.
Okay.
And everyone's already clicked up or whatever. And I get my buddy. I got 2 buddies from Ottawa that I got to come out, and we're starting a new life.
Mm-hmm.
This is in a town on the East Coast called Halifax.
Okay.
And so we rent this like crappy apartment, and we're like, let's host a party. Like we made a couple sort of periphery friends, and it was like we're so dumb. We're so stupid. We put up posters around like the campus, and we're like, come to this party.
Yeah.
We're like, we're going to meet friends, because you just think no one's going to show up. And of course, it's like an absolute rager. And it was actually pretty fun. Most of the people that came were like friends or friends of friends. And they were like the right people that like we wanted to get to know better.
Yeah.
But then there was like obviously some sketchy people, and one guy like takes his like one guy was like fucking with our bathroom, like taking the shaving cream and like drawing on the mirror and stuff.
Ugh, that's rude.
And I was like, hey man, what the hell, dude? Like, we have you at our house and you're fucking it up. Like, what's the point of that?
Yeah.
What's your deal? And this guy, like, I get in almost fights, or back then it would happen like not a fair amount, but like maybe 3 times a year. You get in like a very almost a fight, or at least a shoving match or something. And this guy was smaller than me, and the look he gave me, when someone like 99, including myself, people don't want to fight.
Yeah.
You go yeah, but you both know you don't want to fight.
Yeah.
This guy was like, oh, thank God, someone wants to fight. I want to fight. Oh, he just had that look, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
And
shit, I'm gonna have to do this.
Shit. Usually, because I'm bigger, I could just be like, what the fuck? And then they're like, it's not worth it. What if he,
he'll kill me.
And then this guy was like kind of a stockier guy, and it was just, I made his day. He wanted to fight so bad.
Napoleon complex.
Yeah, he was going, oh yeah, and he took his beer, and he was like slowly going to spill it on my face. Like, what do you? Oh yeah. And then so he spills it on my face, and I was like, so I shoved him against the fridge, and then all of it just turned into, it was in the kitchen, and then like everyone starts fighting, and then he punches me in the jaw, and I go, hey, stop, and everyone just, oh yeah, my buddy Gordo comes in. My buddy Gordo was like a sketchy dude back then. He's not now. He's a very nice school teacher, but he
a doctor and a school teacher.
Yeah. Gordo walks in. He's like, he sees that I'm about to get jumped by like 5 guys in the kitchen, and he just, no hesitation, pokes a guy in the eye, grabs another guy, and knocks his like head off the corner of the stove. And it was like the most badass thing I've ever seen in my life. Poke in the eye? What the hell? Like, I was like, my eye! You're like, so surprised.
Is it Gordo or Jerry Lewis?
Yeah. Zoinks. and then my buddy Jeff, he at that stage in his life looked exactly like Harry Potter. Couldn't grow a beard. Was like he had little round glasses, and he was like a little boy. And he walked in. He was like, "Hey, we got a DJ in the other room. It's actually pretty cool." And someone just punches him in the face, and his glasses go flying. He literally goes, "My glasses!" And then I get punched in the jaw, and I go, "Hey, stop!" And everyone stops, like out of a movie. And I go, in Saskatchewan, we used to call punch it like a bad punch that wasn't very effective, a muffin.
Okay.
Because it's soft, I guess. And I didn't really realize that this wasn't like a popular colloquialism. And I go, "Hey, everyone stop!" And everyone stops, and I go, "Does this kitchen look like a bakery to you?" Everyone goes, "What? No." And they go, "What?" And I go, "Does my kitchen look like a bakery to you?" And they're like, "No." And I go, "Then why are you guys throwing muffins?" And everyone's like, "What?" And then they're like, "Fuck you, let's go." And I go, "Do you want to go?" And they're like, "Yeah." I remember my dad was a bouncer in his younger days. And I remember asking him, like, "Dad, what was your best move, your best fight move as a bouncer?" He goes,
Yeah.
"My best fight move, honestly, was I'd always go, 'Do you want to fight?' And they'd always go, 'Yes.' And they go, 'Well, let's go outside and do it properly.' And they'd always say yes. And then I go, 'You go first.' And they'd always say yes. And then I'd lock the door and call the cops. And so I was like, 'Well, let's go outside.' And they were like, 'Yeah.' I guess they were all army guys.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all like testosterone jacked up army guys.
Yeah.
And they're like, 'Yeah, let's go outside. Fuck that.' And then and so I go, 'You go first.' And then they go first. Then I lock the door. And then just call the cops. And I'd watch them through the peephole. And they're just losing their minds on the street when they realized what was happening. What the fuck? I mean, the guy's name was Jimmy. He was like, and he was just pacing and then like snarling and I remember that we had these bunch of friends like that were went to philosophy school. And they two of them were on my porch outdoors on the porch. I'm like looking through the window and they're kind of like drunk and like into their own conversation. You know, like a first year, second year college student is like so pretentious and like into whatever they're in.
Of course.
And just like they're like talking about Descartes and this Jimmy, the army guy, walks up the steps and he's like, "Let me back," and he's like, "Fuck," and then he turns around and I remember the kid was the philosophy kid's like leaning on the railing, kind of half on the railing, and he's not expecting it. And Jimmy goes, "Fuck," and turns around and just shoves him, the first guy he sees. And he goes backwards, like the wrong way over a railing. And I remember just his legs just disappearing out of my point of view. Just, "Ah!" And we went like, "Descartes, ah!" He was like shot out of the screen. And I felt so bad. I was like, "Ooh." Then the cops showed up and they dispersed or whatever. And then Jeff had like a big black eye. He had peas on his head and stuff.
My glasses.
My glasses. There's a DJ in there. It's actually pretty cool. Clunk. Ah, my glasses. I mean, he got hit and went straight back, like out of a cartoon. His glasses went firing off. I remember Gordo is like my dude. Because he was just like, you know what, some people would just be like, hey, come on. He was just like, I have your back. I don't care that I'm outnumbered right now.
Yeah.
Most people would try not to get embroiled.
Yeah.
He's like, I guess we're gonna go.
Yeah.
We're all gonna get beat up, I guess, but
here we go.
We're gonna give him hell.
Yeah.
He splayed his fingers.
Oh my God.
And poked the guy in the eye and then punched the guy in the throat. And then the guy in the eyes, he grabbed him and bonked his head off the corner of the stove.
I like how you say bonked, but he like seriously injured that guy.
Oh yeah, he is not a teacher or a doctor, that guy.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
He has limited brain function. You can only see out of his dominant eye.
Yeah, his undominant eye. Yeah. He just sweeps in circles now. At his medial jaw.
Did you ever see those guys again?
Oh, so one time, like a year later or whatever, Gordo was like skateboarding around, and he saw Jimmy like kicking the shit out of a guy. Like three of them were jumping a guy, like they were gonna like kill him or something.
Oh my God!
And Gordo got them to stop and talk them down. and like saved the guy's life. And then him and Jimmy like were friendly.
What?
And then he was like, "Yeah, dude, it's good you didn't fight Jimmy. That guy's a psycho. He would have like."
Oh my God.
Most people would punch you, and you know, maybe you'd be kind of dazed, and then they'd be like, "Take that, bitch," and then walk away. But he would have like kept kicking me.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jimmy, that's terrifying.
These are the people that like. Most people in the military are normal, but a lot of people that go in the military are like, "What do I?
How do I kill something?"
Kill someone.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad your dad taught you the handy trick.
Mm-hmm.
Your dad's a bouncer. Is he as big as you?
He's bigger.
He's bigger?
Yeah, he's much bigger, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
He was a scary man growing up with him, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad's also
He-
like 6'4",
Oh, yeah.
300 pounds. He's a big
wow.
guy. Yeah.
So my dad is 6'4.5" and like probably like 250.
Oh, he's a half an inch taller than my dad. Okay, well.
Yeah,
It's not a competition,
He's not big.
Graham.
He's not big. Your dad's a big guy, really. Yeah. But when I growing up, I saw my dad beat up 2 guys.
Yeah. Oh, really,
Yeah.
too?
They're both fun stories.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
My dad, okay. He beat up 2 people?
One time I was like I was like a little kid.
I couldn't tell if you were joking.
No, I'll do them as quick as possible.
No, it's fine.
And I was like 10 years old or something, and maybe 11, and then my dad walks out of the gas station. He had just been paying, but there was like this. Oh yeah, so my dad goes into the gas station to pay, and then there's like construction workers like just working on a building next door. And one of the construction workers was like 20 years old, and he was like, my window was rolled down, and he goes, "Hey kid, you got a girlfriend?" And I was like, "Yeah." I didn't. I just was like wanted to be cool, and he goes, he like nudges his buddy. He goes, "Do you fuck her in her pussy?" Right when my dad walks out, and he just walks over, grabs the guy, and just goes. And the guy just crumples, and then the guy's buddy was like, "Man, he deserved it."
Yeah.
And we just get in the car and drive away, and I was like, "Oh." He didn't say a word. Did not say a word. And then another time, I was playing marbles on Jeremy Clark Oka's porch, and they were
What a name.
yeah, and they were like a Nigerian family, so you're racist. And then there was like these like hicks, like we grew up downtown, and there was like the football stadium was near us, and there was a big parking lot, and the fair would come once in the late summer or whatever, and so all these people from outside of town would like park on our double park on the streets, and like these like hicks like blocked Jeremy's dad's driveway, and Jeremy's dad was trying to back out, and they were just parked, and he was like, "Can you move your car?" And they were like, "No." And then they got into like a little bit of a back and forth, and then they called him the N-word, and they punched him. And this is right in front of us. We're on the front porch, right, playing marbles, and had a good run going, and then. My dad just happened to be coming back from the hardware store. He was always coming back from the hardware store back then. And he just dropped his like tools and like walked across the street, and then just grabbed this guy, had like long hair, and like just grabbed him by the hair and just kept feeding him in the face and like ragdolling him. And then the other guy was like punching my dad. Then Willie, the other dad, came out and they fought. And then my dad was like bigger than everybody. He was just like beating 2 guys up, and then the girlfriends came out and started scratching our dads. We started whipping marbles at them. And we were like 10 years old, 11 years old, so we had like the like tennis balls, like whipping balls was like our whole life. We had wicked arms. It's like beating these girls with these marbles. And then they fucked off, and because our dads beat them up. And then there was all this hair. My dad pulled out a bunch of this guy's hair.
Oh God!
And then they were like sweeping up. The moms came out and were cleaning up after the fight. I think it was like a broken taillight on one of the cars, and like on like Willie's van or whatever. And like we're like sweeping up, and my mom points at all the hair in the basket and the waste paper or whatever, the dustbin, and she goes, "See that, Graham? And that's why you should eat your vegetables." And I was like, so at work for like years, I was like, I don't want my hair to fall out. And then like looking back on it now, I'm like, a race fight, and then it's eat your vegetables is the thing we're supposed to take away.
That's the lesson.
Yeah.
If you eat your vegetables,
your vegetables.
racism won't happen,
Yeah.
and you'll keep your hair.
Yeah.
I think you were supposed to build that bridge, okay? Because vegetables are multiple colors, all right?
You're
And they
right.
all belong in your belly.
You're right.
okay?
They all belong. Yep.
Wow, your dad sounds like quite the badass. Of course he's not saying I love you.
No, he doesn't say I love you.
No, he says I love you and I'm against racism by beating the shit out
Yeah,
of some hicks.
My dad says I love you by when I go, I'm going to go home for Christmas. And he goes, oh, that would be nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
That's great news.
Oh, you even called it great news?
Great news.
That's great news for
Yeah.
your heart.
Yeah.
Huh? Oh, no. Well, that's lovely.
Yeah.
I think my dad has, I think, gotten a fight one time in middle school. My dad used to carry around a skateboard because he thought it would look cool, fell on it one time and just never touched it again.
And kept carrying it?
Kept carrying it.
You have a young dad. How old's your dad?
My dad, he was 22 when he had my sister. He's now 60, I think, 61.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a young fella.
So in the 80s, he had like a
Yeah, my dad.
skateboard.
Mm-hmm.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Your dad's cool.
I think he got in a fight one time because these guys were bullying him, and then he had like a growth spurt, and this guy tried to bully him again, and he just punched him in the face.
Yeah.
And then he never got suspended because the teachers were like, no, he
That's
had it
great.
coming. Yeah.
That always would happen in like school. There'd always be like a big nerdy kid and they'd get bullied, and then like just like the nerdy kid would always figure, wait a second, I'm big, and they'd like, pick up the kid and slam him, and you always, it was just the best.
Yeah, that was my dad.
Yeah.
It just happened one time, and then everybody left him alone.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh.
Okay, Gary figured out his superpower.
no matter what we say, physics.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna have to climb this tree in order to get to his eyes. Yeah. Oh, well,
Your dad
this
sounds
was
like a nice man.
he's a lovely, sweet man, and he always made things funny, and that's how he
nice.
got out of trouble. Yeah, like on his first date, he said, "Pull my finger to my mom," and no
Really?
lie, yeah,
Did
and
he
she
fart?
did it, and he farted, and he got the second date.
That's charming.
Care Bear.
Yeah,
Yeah, this was my destiny.
It was. Well, it makes sense because you're such a nice person.
Well, I have my days.
Well, yeah. I love that laugh.
Well, until someone pees in my backyard, and then
I peed in her backyard.
He peed in my backyard, and it was fine. He was given the okay. I did not
Not
yell.
by her. And
Correct.
I knew I shouldn't have done it. I was being lazy, and I was in the wrong. And
No. We don't have to go down this road. I'm just saying, if you do it again, I'll break your kneecaps.
that's fair. And I could tell. I like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Well, Graham, this was a delight. We did it.
I'm sorry if
We
I
did
went
it.
long.
No, this is wonderful. This is the perfect amount of time.
Oh, good.
Because it happened with you.
Okay, that's
yeah.
nice.
Did you like? Yeah, you like that?
I had a
See?
great time.
Maybe I am fucking nice. How can people find you?
Instagram K on Instagram. I tried to do a play thing with Instagram,
And
it's at Insta GRAHAMKAY. Graham like the cracker, K like the jeweler. Instagram K. It's not a good handle. It's one of the handles where you on paper you're like, well, that's good, and then you try and tell people, you're like Instagram K, and you just need a year to explain to them what my handle is. I got to get a better one, but that's what it is now. I make videos and silly stuff. I put them out there, and I also have a podcast about, believe it or not, it's going to sound sarcastic because I just mumbled a bunch, but it's not. I have a podcast about autism awareness. And my brother has autism, and my co-host has a nonverbal son, and it's called Autastic. And we, it's the comedian's guide to living with autism, and we're proud of it. At one point it was the most popular podcast in the world about autism. It might still be, but we've had a downturn recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I told a true story about how I moved because somebody below me had a severely autistic son, and it was just very loud, and so I moved, and then all the moms listening were like, fuck this guy. And
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well,
they really.
that's all I had in my career, and I had sewered it.
Yeah. I love everything about you.
Thanks.
This is gonna sound bad because I'm mumbling through this whole thing.
I have a podcast about about autism. I'm just staring at your shoulder. Yeah. So Instagram K. Please follow me on Instagram. I am proud of my feed.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's all you can ask for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for doing the pod.
Mm-hmm.
This was very fun.
Thanks.
I'm glad
for
you're
having
still alive and you're not in jail.
Oh shit! I'm an idiot. I have an album. You can download it. But
Jesus
it's
Christ. This is the segment called "How long does it take to close a podcast?" What's the album called, Graham?
Oh, who cares?
Spit it out. What is it? Graham K's The Tits.
It's called Girlfriend Material. It's about
Oh,
my
it
last
is.
breakup.
Oh, yikes. Yes. What? I do remember that. Okay.
Yep.
It's true. In case
Thanks.
people were worried you were lying.
Yeah.
I'm I can verify. I
No,
have, as a
it
host, brought you up.
He's not
as
telling you a fake. He's not trying to throw you off the scent. He does, in fact, want you to download.
Yeah. Do it. Listen to his podcast.
It's free on Spotify.
Get his album. Listen to his album. It's very funny. You are very funny.
Thanks.
I didn't say that as, but like you are very, 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 very funny.
Oh, whatever.
Well, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
This really is soured in the last 10 minutes. We really fucked it up
I
at the
always
end.
go too long. I can't. God, I just spent so much time alone.
I mean, but you look great,
Thanks.
and you just helped a friend move. You're a hero.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to leave on that. Is there anything else?
I had a great time, and I'm not as sad as I sound.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's so uplifting.
I'm having a good time.
Jesus Christ. I'm stopping this recording right now. Graham K, everybody.
No.
No.
Good time, guys.